today's video, we're going to be doing some more work on the Econoline Winter Daily project. But before we do that, I need to check on the bug because number one, it got to like freezing cold last night, and I decided to silicone my roof shut. And as you can tell, I don't think it dried all the way because it got really cold last night, but it's still holding up. I'm going to count that as a win. And we're going to go work on another car. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing more work on the seats. So I wasn't able to put this in the last video, but these are the original seats to the Econoline. Now, originally we were going to put those seats in. Those are really cool. They're kind of like bucket seats. But the amount of space and the way that the seats need to be in this car, they need to be really thin-ish, and they also can't be too wide. And the original seats obviously fit pretty good, but those ones don't fit in here. Your head basically touches the ceiling, or you can't drive it at all. So we're just gonna have to fix up the original seats, which this one was the passenger seat. A whole chunk of metal was missing right there, so we replaced that. So this is pretty good now. Sprayed a bunch of rust converter on it. And then I'll consult with my dad, but we'll probably just paint it black. And then, yeah, we'll go from there with putting new foam and fabric and making that useful. Now, the other one, that's the driver's seat. And that's what we're working on, at least right now. And yeah, we're going to have to weld on the brackets because they fell off. We're going to have to obviously clean off a bunch of stuff and spray rust converter on it. And yeah. And then what we're also going to do today is clean up a ton of this greasy stuff and just honestly clean up the car. It's a little bit easier to work on. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so I took the wire brush there and just scraped off the rest of the fuzzy guys, and yeah, it's pretty decent. So I'm gonna go outside in the near freezing cold. It's not near freezing cold, it's just really cold out. But I'm gonna spray rust converter on it, and then we'll get to vacuuming out this old van. Alright, so now most of the bottom part's drying, so let's get to vacuuming this thing. Alright, so been cleaning up the floor with the old the profiler, whatever it is from Harbor Freight. That thing works great. You can't really get into the edges, especially with that brush roller guy on it, because it's not flexible. So I just took the wire brush to it. But now I'm gonna see where the rustiest areas are, like where the really bad ones are. So basically how you do that, you take a screwdriver, as you can see, there's already a hole there. So you can see, it's actually pretty decent around it, but what you want to do is basically take a small screwdriver and just stab it. And actually, I'm going to get a little pokey guy, but basically you take a screwdriver and you just kind of hammer around, and if the screwdriver is able to penetrate through, then obviously that area is not good. And now I have to find the little punch guy. Let me find that real quick. Alright, I found it. It was up here. A little side note, we are working on the roof now. Getting a ton of that patched in. We haven't done that yet, but the sheet metal that we had was not long enough. Just a little bit too short. So yeah, that's on pause till we get another sheet. So yeah, we're doing this. Anyways, back to what I was doing. Basically, you take a screwdriver or something like this. As you can see, that's poking holes in it. So obviously that's not good metal. You want to replace that. But like this, yeah, that can't get through. So It's pretty decent. I'm gonna do another check over here. Oh, yep. Here's one hole. So, yeah. That's just how you check for if the rust is really bad, but I'm gonna vacuum this up for like the 5th time. And then probably spray some rust converter on it just to get it all decent. And I'll go from there. Alright, it is a new day. And right now I'm gonna start finish welding in the roof, filling up some of these gaps, and then grinding all that down. Got some new sheet metal. So, since we had that, we built the last floor panel. So, this will get welded in soon. But for right now, I'll get on to welding up here. Alright, it's been a little bit. I haven't really filmed any update clips yet. But we have that floor in. That's great. And we have most of the roof section repaired, so now I'm just grinding down all the welds, and then we still have those little sections to build, and then we can paint it and we can put the new roof brace in that's over there. Yeah, so my dad's also starting the repair on the doghouse. We were going to build a whole new doghouse, but then we looked at it and it's not that bad, so we're just building little repair patch panels on the bottom. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've been doing lately. And a very little side note, I got new wheels for my car. Slot mags, obviously, very great wheel. Found them for $100 on eBay. Paid like $100 for shipping. And they need new tires because these ones are kind of dry rotted, but they're also way too big. I'm going to put up a picture of what it looks like on the front. The tire hits the fender with no wheel spacer on the front, which I had to have after I blew the airbag in the front. But yeah, so that'll be another winter project, is getting these super polished up, because I'd really like to make them look super nice. Then I'll also get new tires, probably white walls, like thin white walls. And yeah, it completely changed the look of the car. I'll put up more pictures of what it looks like, but these things look great. So yeah. Alright, it's been a little bit since the last update, but I think I've said before, all the floors are pretty much done. So now we're just rebuilding the doghouse. All those are finished, welded. That one just needs to get, the front one just needs to get all the welds grinded down. So yeah, we're working on this now. And I'm not working on the roof because I hate doing that and I hate grinding. But yeah, we're just working on it. It's pretty straight as it is with the top on it. So we're just trying to make this back panel, and then yeah, we'll be pretty much done with this. We'll just paint it and line it with like insulation, sound deadening stuff, and then at that point we should be good to like epoxy the floor and start doing wiring. So it has been a while since I filmed the last clip, but yeah, last place I left off was the doghouse, and yeah, a lot's happened. So they've all been painted, and finished the back one. You can see it's very good, and put some kill mat on it. So yeah, these babies, you can't hear nothing. So those are good. And we have the roof nuts in there, and obviously the floor's been painted. We put some epoxy on it. We still got to do another coat, at least in the back, because all the rust and grease stuff sort of soaked through, but that's fine. But yeah, it's pretty good.
So now we're doing wiring. My dad, being the wiring master sensei guy, he's doing a lot of the work, actually most of it. So we've got these all organized pretty much. And so he's out right now getting a new key switch and headlight switch, because the headlight switch had the fuse panel on it and it was a mess. Oh, and he got a dimmer switch. And the key switch, we had to like drill. We didn't drill it out. We took the grinder to it, actually. You can still kind of see it because it wouldn't come out. But yeah, it's a mess in here. But yeah, it was very nice ripping out all of the wiring. So yeah, we're on that. Also, today I restored the gauge panel. It looks better on camera. It's still pretty rough, but it looks decent enough. And yeah. Now, another thing that happened on the Beetle, which if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably don't know much about that car because I haven't done like a backstory on it. But pretty much the first time I tried to drive it out of the garage, one of the rear brakes locked up, and so I had to redo all of the brake system. And so with this one, it would go down really far and then it would stop. And so we pulled out the master cylinder, and it being a 67, it's the last year of this generation, but it also has a dual pot master cylinder, which is good, except for the fact that it is crap. I mean, it looks bad on the outside, but like the inside bore where these pistons are, they're just shot. So we ordered a single pot, and we're gonna make it work. It's not the best, but trying to find a dual pot one, you can try to rebuild it yourself, which we can't do with that one, or we can send that one off and pay a guy like $500 for him to rebuild that one. So that's not happening. So we paid like $100 for a new one. But yeah, that was a lot. But that's pretty much what we've been doing. Oh, and we finished the last panel on the roof, if you can see that. That's pretty much all grinded down, so eventually we'll paint that and maybe put some Bondo on the outside parts. But yeah, we've been working at it. Also painted some seat rails. There's a lot of stuff that we've been doing. So yeah. Roof brace too. I told you there is a lot that we've been doing. And yeah, so once my dad gets back, we'll probably we won't finish the wiring, but we'll get a lot of that stuff done up in the dash. And yeah, then we get to wire headlights, and then we have to wire up the engine, and then we have to make everything else work. So, last time you saw this car, the floor was all epoxied, and we had done that. That was a little bit of an update, and we had started wiring. Well, now the whole floor, or front of the floor, is kill-matted. It's got all the stuff on it, and we've gotten farther with the wiring, got headlights and taillights, and we've got headlight switch in. That's cool. And we've got all these ready for the gauges, and we're still waiting for a ignition to come in. We've got a lot of stuff coming in. We've got fabric coming for the seats. We've got, I don't even know what else. And then this is the welding cart, because we're doing a bunch of stuff over here. That's our little panel that we made to go right there behind the side panels, because before all that stuff was mounted onto the side panels, so you couldn't really take them off. But now that's that. And yeah, all the floors are also seam sealed. So yeah, I mean, Dad being the wiring master, that's all nice looking, and he's taking the time to do all that. If you look in my car, the rear stereo wiring is like just laying there, and it's just bundles and bundles because I didn't care. And guess what? Now I do. Anyways, yeah. So we will get on it probably tomorrow. Okay, so pulled off the exhaust manifold because it had a terrible exhaust leak. We have a new gasket for it, and we broke off 3 bolts. So one of them actually came out pretty easy, and this bottom one, which is the suckiest one, I'm tapping out right now because it's, it broke. It was stuck. And then there's another one, but I'm not thinking about that. But yeah, just slowly using the crescent wrench with the tap and putting a bunch of cutting fluid on it, but yeah, not fun. So, I spent the last 2 days putting on an exhaust manifold, and yeah, that's done now. Hey, look at it. It's great. And we've got that panel all wired up. We should be getting the last couple of parts tomorrow, like the key switch and stuff like that. Dad's got this whole side wired up. Oh, nice. We've got the gauge panel in. So yeah, we're just waiting for our switch, our key switch, and that. Oh, and we ordered a banjo bolt for the master cylinder that came because the end, it's weird. It's a stupid bolt. That hasn't shipped yet, but that's fine. So, yeah. Tomorrow, we can probably do a test start on it and see if all the wiring's good. And then, from there, it's just a race to complete it. We'll get the doghouse back on, finish up the seats, get those all upholstered, and probably swap some tires out and get the top on. But yeah, we're close. Alright, so last update for this video. We've got the wiring 99% completed. We've got cigarette lighter hooked up. We've just gotta do like the horn wire we've still gotta finish, and we gotta like wrap the wires and stuff. But it runs off the key, it charges, it basically does everything. All the lights work. So yeah, next step is doing the seats, putting the top back on, gas tank, tires, and that should be it. Oh, and the brakes. We're getting the banjo fitting for the end on Saturday. So it's Tuesday today, so we've got basically half a week to hopefully finish a lot of it, because I want to start driving it soon. Oh, and also we pulled out the blower motor, and that should be free spinning. So it's done. It's cooked. So yeah, and that little screw thing to pull off the blade, because you need the blade because the replacement ones don't have the blade, that's not coming out. So we get to figure out how to do that. But yeah, that'll do it for this update video on the Econoline. So yeah, stick around for the next video where we'll probably finish up everything else and drive it for the first time.